So this was a lick in the style of John Mayer or, any of the modern artists that are kind of taking this major pentatonic sound that was used by classic blues artists and, putting it in a modern context, right? I'm also using this thing here called double stop. So this is something that, John Mayer uses a lot, and I like to think that he borrows from Jimi Hendrix in his playing. And so a double stop is saying that I'm going to play two notes at the same time. And so you might be thinking to yourself, well, that sounds like a power chord. And, we could get, technical and argue that maybe double stops are power chords, but the way that I differentiate it in my head is a power chord is more, playing a rhythm guitar part. And when I'm doing double stops, I'm still kind of remaining within scale shapes, and I'm still really kind of, playing single note lead lines. So even though I'm playing two notes at the same time, it really feels like I'm playing one note at a time, or I'm playing, licks that are single note, kind of motions. So I'm not really basing things off of a power chord rhythm. I'm really kind of focusing in on a lead line. So that's my differentiation for how I like to think about double stops. So again, the two positions that I'm working off of, these are going to be really similar to the B.B. King lick that I talked about, where we're in the key of C major now, right? So this is my root note on the E string, and the two positions that I'm thinking about when I play this. So that's the first position, right? The position we've been talking about with the major pentatonic, with our root note here on the E string, and then this second one that I briefly talked about in that that other lick where I was working within the major pentatonic and doing kind of a Chicago-style blues. So that's 8 to 10, 7 to 10, 7 to 10, 7 to 9, 8 to 10, 8 to 10, right? So those are the two positions that I'm envisioning while I play this, because this is in the key of C major. So to start this off, I'm doing this little lick here. This intro has been used in, a million different songs. It's in a bunch of different Jimi Hendrix songs, so it's as old as the electric guitar itself, probably. So what I'm doing is I'm playing the 8th fret here of the B string and the E string, and then I'm instantly hammering on to the 10th fret, but just of the B string. That way, I have these two notes ringing out together. Right? So it's got that really cool sound where I have a hammer on, I have a lot of impact, but I've also got the harmony between these two notes. So that's my first double stop. And then after I come down on the 10th fret of the B string, I'll play both the 8th fret of B and E, and then I'll play just the 9th fret of the G string. And now something I can also do is you hear as I'm going down with that, I decided to play both notes at the same time. So something that's kind of cool with double stops is, I don't want to say you should be, kind of careless or lax with your right hand, but you'll notice I'm kind of letting the notes bleed into one another. Right? As the notes bleed into one another, it kind of has this cool effect where everything feels like it's ringing together. And, it's getting at that motion where we're playing within a lead line, but it's got this almost like chord-like quality to it. So that's our beginning part. And now this is our second little line that we're doing. So I use this motion all the time in my playing. What I'm doing here is I'm playing the 7th fret of the G string and the 6th fret of the B string. And I'm instantly sliding those up into the 9th fret and the 8th fret of the G and B. So I'm sliding that whole position up, then I'm sliding that whole position down. And then I'm just playing the 5th fret of G and B. So we have. So you can see, like I said, this is kind of a modular lick like some of our other things where we have each of these little individual parts. Right? I could consider those just their own two separate phrases. So we have that whole part, and now we have our ending. So this is a similar ending that I've done in other licks. So I'm playing the 7th fret of the G string, the 5th fret of the G string, and then the 7th fret of D. And then I'm kind of holding on the 7th fret of the D string. And I'm doing something here where I'm just letting the note naturally ring out, right? So usually, a lot of times when I'm playing, I want the note to ring for a very, very specific amount of time. This is one of the subtleties of this style of playing. I'm just kind of naturally letting it lose its sustain because it has another really cool effect, right? It feels very, earthy. It feels very honest. It feels very organic. It's not as meticulous and, kind of accurate as just instantly stopping it on beat. So this is something I'm deliberately doing here. And again, this might be a subtlety where you're just trying to get the lick down and you're not completely worrying about, stopping and starting and all these different articulations. But as always, if you're someone that already feels comfortable with this stuff, see if you can kind of really focus in on that. And then I'm just ending with the 5th fret of the G string. And then something that I'm also throwing in here is this is our little ending, right? I can also make it a hammer-on here, where I'm hammering directly on from the 5th fret to the 7th fret, and then just continuing my lick on. So hammer-on, 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret. So that whole thing. And then one last thing that I can also do is I can also, if I'm hammering on there, I can make this a little double stop as well. Right, so you're kind of seeing the potential of double stops. It's this really cool melodic style of playing that, we're still playing kind of single note style lines, but it's got this chordal harmonic feel to it. So now that we've gotten a good feel of the 2 different positions that we're working off of, as well as how to play this lick, let's practice this together in the practice scene.